Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Wallet Wisdom, a podcast presented by Lake Michigan Credit Union. If you're new to the podcast or have been listening for a while now, Wallet Wisdom is designed around breaking down the ins and outs of financial aspects, as well as help bring answers to some of banking's more confusing or complex questions. I'm one of your hosts, Brett. As always, with me in the studio is my wonderful best friend, Lo. Hi.
That's the first time you've called me your best friend, and I'm so excited about it. Hello.
Hello. How are you? How's the summer been going?
It's been beautiful.
Yes.
There's nothing like a Michigan summer.
It's so true.
If you're out there and not in Michigan, get over here because it is beautiful.
Well, actually, the fam and I just this past weekend went over to Grand Haven here in Michigan on
so
the west
beautiful.
side. And man, I've not been to the beach in a while.
Yeah.
Ever since, 2020 and COVID and a lot of it.
They closed a lot of those beaches too, right?
A lot of them kind of in certain areas for sure. But it was really nice to go walk the
weather
pier.
was perfect.
Oh, man. It was great.
Yeah,
we took some
love it.
great photos, selfies, of course.
Well, those are the best kind.
They are. So, but hey, we are here once again and excited to bring listeners some more information on some of the fun things that we always like to talk about on Wallet Wisdom. So actually, speaking of that, we have here in the studio right now,
Good luck. You get to say his name.
I know. So,
and he would not let us have any hints on how to pronounce his name.
That's true.
This is going to be interesting. Good luck with this, my friend.
That's right. So joining us, we have the experienced and very knowledgeable member service representative, Jon. And now's the fun. We're going to have to see her.
So my original guess was
we're giving you both a chance here.
Okay. I'm gonna say it's Schmiedicke.
So, Lo here was the closest, and it is all in the pronunciation.
Yes.
Schmiedicke.
Schmiedicke.
I get Schmiedicke a lot. I get Schmiedicke a lot. I don't know where the L comes into play here, but
Right.
I mean, my maiden name was Start, and people said Stewart. I'm like, it literally is on your microwave. You press it and like all the time. Let's get this right here.
Right. Oh, that's funny.
All right.
Well, can you say it one more time for us?
Schmiedicke.
Schmiedicke. I like that. That's actually really fun to say.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Jon Schmiedicke.
I get that quite often.
Yeah, I get that quite often. Well, hey, we're so glad you're in the studio today. Part of our conversations, I feel like even on a theme of this year, has just been about helping listeners understand their credit score, understand their credit, how that can impact their finances. I mean, it really takes so many different areas with your credit score, from getting a loan for a house, whether it's a car loan or you could be looking at just a plethora of other things. Your credit score really does make an impact. But we have some really great products and great, strategies here at LMCU that can help our listeners really increase that and maybe just better understand how to be maybe a little bit wiser in how they're using credit and their credit cards. So we're so glad that you're here with us, Jon, to break some of that down for us.
Well, no, thank you both for having me here. Very excited to be on this podcast, Wallet Wisdom. And you're absolutely right about that. We are no longer a cash-only society from generations past.
Yeah.
So credit is king at this point.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And developing good credit can mean a world of difference between getting in your own vehicle with an auto loan, or having to ride the bus, or having to rent and paying these astronomical rental prices, or getting a mortgage with possibly the same monthly payment or even lower.
Right. And you're building wealth
and get to
that
keep
way.
it.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
You get to keep it and you're building wealth because there's equity that now belongs to you. So,
and that's the scary part of it is everyone's willing to give you a loan, right?
Oh.
There's people around any corner. You walk into any store and they're ready to give you a credit card. You walk anywhere and they're like, hey, we can give it to you, but we'll give you a loan.
Yeah.
But what you don't see is all the scary little asterisks and fine print and all of that.
And you put it very well, scary, because you don't understand. Well, a lot of us don't understand what we are getting into, because a lot of times it has not been explained to you.
Right.
As ironic as it is, my father is a great financial person. Well, I have always been told growing up, don't get a credit card. Don't get a credit card.
Yes.
Well, guess what? I went against my father and I got a credit card.
That's what kids do, right?
And I learned kind of the hard way how working with credit, how utilizing credit, understanding that this isn't speaking to credit cards.
Yeah.
This isn't free money.
Right.
You
That's
know,
right.
you have to pay it back. And well, lo and behold, you have to pay a little bit to be borrowing that money.
Yeah. It's like a friend saying, here, you can borrow this money, but you're going to,
I need it double back.
To do that, I'm going to need you to give me at least $5 for every 10 you get. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, just with the podcast with Aldina on it, with, just financial knowledge and all that, I can't explain more to any type of person in any walk of life how important credit is, whether you have never had any type of loan or credit card, or you have a very well established credit, because I still think it's a farce. I've never seen anybody with an 850 credit score, you know.
Right. Well, and I think it's a great point that for listeners to hear, because I heard the same thing growing up. Don't get a credit card. You're going to get yourself into potential trouble. Maybe they were just talking to me specifically, but and they were right.
Your personality too much.
But there was a lot of that back in the day. But to your point, we are moving to so many different places. You know, LMCU Ballpark here in Grand Rapids, where the Whitecaps play, they went cash free. Like it's completely electronic only.
And I believe Van Andel is even going that route as well.
That's right. That's right.
Who'd have thunk we'd be offended by that at some point? Because it used to be like, what, you don't take card? Like, oh, I don't have any cash. But now it's the opposite, which is kind of refreshing. But
it is. It's so true. It's
well,
so true.
You know, in this day and age, we've all been going electronic so much more. I myself, I do not like having cash in my pocket because I feel like that's just going to get spent to just get out of my pocket. And there's so many opportunities. You know, there's Apple Pay, there's Samsung Pay, there's your debit card, there's your credit card. And it's really good to have an understanding the difference between all of these items here.
For sure.
You know, when it comes down to, debit versus credit.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, with the credit cards, obviously you have a limit. You're borrowing a certain amount, and it's based on how you want to use it. What a lot of people don't know, at least a lot of our youth as well, is whatever you use in that month, when you get that statement, if you pay it back, so basically keeping within your budget, you will never pay a dime of interest.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy, isn't that?
Right.
That is.
Right. And I grew up the same way. Don't have a credit card. You know, credit is evil. Don't do it. And then went from that to working in retail and selling people credit cards. I had no business doing it. Let's be real. I had zero training on what credit was. But here I am saying you can get a discount if you just get this card real quick.
Yeah. These department stores, another place, they do that.
Then I walk from that into working at LMCU, and I start seeing the problems that come with those people that get these cards for the discount, because little do they know they're going to force you to put that purchase on that card. And now you've got this bill that you don't know is coming to you, and that gets you in trouble. And so I have a lot of guilt out there. I think I've righted all my wrongs throughout all of the loans I've done at LMCU, but I think that is really important to realize that these people talking to you about credit cards a lot of times have no idea what they're talking about. And that's what's so refreshing with LMCU, because we can come see people like you, John, and hear actually what we're getting into.
That's right.
Absolutely. And speaking of the department stores, you know, they try to entice the consumer into getting their card. You get a 20% off this time, and you get 3% off every other time after that.
Right.
Well, what they also don't explain to you is, you know, we have you at a 20 plus interest rate.
Right.
Yeah.
Average, I think right now is like 28%, which is outrageous.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, heck, that first time purchase, if I'm getting 20% off, I'm going to make it worth my while.
Right.
You know, I can pay this back in a few months, but then life happens, and you never know what's going to happen.
That's right.
That is our plan, but plans don't always
Go to
follow
plan.
suit the way. Yeah, exactly, exactly. So I mean, I stress with all the members that I sit with, try to avoid these high interest cards.
Yeah.
No matter where they're coming from, they might not necessarily come from a department store. They may come in the mail with all the junk mail that you get.
Also true.
That I get plenty of, that I recycle. Talk to your financial institution. See where they're at. See what other options that they have to offer.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you're talking with one of the great LMCU member service representatives.
That's right. Right. I think I know at least one that's that way.
Yeah, we know a couple cool ones.
Yeah, for sure.
And so LMCU's products, I think, are the best. I'm slightly biased, but not only that, but other institutions are saying as much. So we are noted for having one of the best low interest credit cards in the game right now. Can you talk to us a little bit about that product?
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to touch base on that low interest one. We have our Prime Platinum Visa card. That has been one of the lowest interest rated cards in the nation for several years running right now. It's got several awards for that as well. We kind of utilize those Prime Platinum cards a lot of times for the specific purposes. If you're trying to consolidate some high interest credit card debt.
Sure.
You not only have the ability to lower your interest rate, but you also have the ability to make that one payment. You're not paying all these other individual companies. And if anybody has been in this position, I have, trying to remember your login and your password. Oh, yeah. Just trying to make these payments. That alone is taking the stress off of your, off your mind.
Exactly.
And, it's a great credit card. And that's my main recommendation for a lot of people on that.
Yeah.
We also have my favorite. That would be the Max Rewards Visa.
Yeah.
So with that is a cashback card. Now you do have a little bit higher of an interest rate, but again, keep in mind, if you do not overspend, and you make those payments each and every month and get your balance down to zero each time, you're not going to pay a lick of interest.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can't stress that enough. Christmas time comes, maybe you can afford that.
Watch yourself.
Right.
Exactly. But hopefully by then you've already accumulated enough cash back. You could kind of offset it a little bit.
Right. And what's so great about it being right within your own institution, if you're banking with us already, is that I personally use it as my debit card. So we have it linked up with our Max checking account to do our allotted transactions that we need to do. And then I just hop on my app after making my purchase and quick pop that right on over.
Yeah.
And
it's as simple as that. And it's so much more mindful spending to make sure that I'm not spending over what I'm hoping to.
It's very great having several things under one roof. We do a whole lot of refinancing and mortgages, and it's really just because they like the ease of lmcu.org or the ease of the platform for our app. Because it is as simple as making a payment, is as simple as transferring from savings to checking.
Yeah.
And Lo, you're right about that. The 3% max checking. The great thing about mixing it up with the Max Rewards is not only are you getting the cash back, but your funds are not being removed from your Max checking, meaning you get the most 3% interest back to you.
Because your monthly average is higher. Yep.
That's right.
Absolutely. And just so people out there know, it's 3% back on gas, 2% on grocery, and 1% on all other purchases. And if you have a certain limit and above, you also get to add on 2% into restaurants, which is pretty awesome.
It is.
That's the signature card.
Yes. So if we're sitting here and we're listening to you, Jon, and I'm like, okay, I know that I have a ton of these high interest cards. What does it look like if I come in to talk to you? How do I work at consolidating those? Do I need to know what I have out there? What does that look like?
Well, no, we'll chat a little bit. I'll get a little info from you, and we'll also pull a credit report on you. I usually spend a little time kind of reviewing over that, seeing what kind of eyeballing what would be the best to consolidate.
Sure.
You see this department store cards. Well, those are going to be the high interest cards. You look at the limits that you're carrying over and over each month. I try to tack away at the largest items that you possibly can that you are getting charged the most interest out of your pocket for.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you can also tell them what interest rates they're paying. Because I know, you can look at that credit report
We have
and
the
pull that up.
calculator.
Because there's been mind-blowing moments for people that are like, that was not that when I started. I just love that we will sit and personalize that so much just to look at, okay, these are the 3 cards that I think we should consolidate. You're good with these other 2. Let's keep that. And I know that we do a great job going through that and having that conversation with our members. So
yeah. Well, and the other thing too that I like that you were kind of explaining is we have, hopefully listeners, you can hear, we've always been talking about, we have options. There isn't just a one size fits all with how LMCU works.
Mm-hmm.
We have many options for you to also be able to be a part of. So like we have a lower interest card that maybe you are running a balance where you have to, unfortunately, just life, I have to carry a balance in my credit card. Well, if you're going to have to do that, you're going to want the least amount of interest as you can.
yeah.
And then you've got a different card option where if you're like, I'm good, I'm not carrying a balance really much anymore, I usually can pay everything at the end of the month off pretty easily. Well, then take advantage of the Max Rewards card and get some cash back or some rewards to go out and treat yourself to a gift card and go out and have a date night or something,
Exactly.
right? So I think, again, having those options available to know that no matter where you are, there's a tool for you to be able to use, right? Now, I'll tell you one thing, Jon, that I want to kind of almost take this episode and also use it as a chance to maybe debunk, right? Debunk some of these credit card myths, because even still, I can sometimes be a skeptic myself. And if I'm listening, I'm like, this all sounds great, but I'm still, I know what credit cards can be and the risks and why they're not good. Let's debunk some of those things. So like,
I've always wanted to be a Mythbuster. So
I
this
know,
is
right? So, one of the things, it's the pros and cons to a credit card. You were mentioning this earlier. You don't like to work or carry cash anymore, right? Well, I'm the same way. Why? Well, I've heard enough about pickpocketing and they got my cash.
Yep.
Well, if they take my credit card, yeah, people are worried about identity theft, and that's a real thing to be concerned about. But that's anything. It's not just a credit card; it can get into any account. It's about they steal your wallet. Well, there's no cash for them.
Right.
What can you do with your credit card? Well, call up your institution and you can cancel it, or you can freeze it. So, could you maybe help us also understand, some of the benefits of a credit card and how it can help with even like fraud prevention and, just the security a little bit of it versus always carrying cash or whatever?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you got to compare credit cards to debit cards at this point. So debit cards, these are your liquid funds. They are going directly to your account. They're being removed immediately. Now, credit cards, those are a line of credit. And the one thing about credit cards that really protects you from fraud is actually the Fair Credit Billing Act that was established a while back. And basically on the consumer end of things, if you were to get frauded, you have a max responsibility of $50 at most.
Wow.
To take care of that.
Wow.
And most institutions nowadays, they're not charging any sort of amount for that.
They'll waive that or they'll take care of that, if you will. Yeah, that's incredible.
And what I love too is I've always found it ironic that if your card gets lost or stolen, call this number that's on the back of your card. And I've always found that really funny. And I used to, back before I knew what I know now, write it down and keep it somewhere else. But now what's so cool about LMCU is I can just go on my app and hit freeze on my app and on my card, and nothing's going to go through.
It's a great thing if you think you lost it, but really it's just tucked away in no man's land
and
in your
have to tell
in your
anyone
car.
and be embarrassed about it. I don't know anyone that's ever happened to, John. I don't know what you're talking about. Yep, in no man's land and between the council and the seat, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Exactly. Now, the other thing is I hear, people say, well, but I'm going to go into debt and I'm going to be,
Right.
in so much credit card debt. And that's true, right? That is not so much a byproduct of the credit card. It's the behavior of the one with it in their hand, right?
Yes.
But how could credit cards also be used to help aid you with like budgeting and getting things your budget in order and taking a credit card and saying, okay, here's how I can use this not to get in trouble, but instead to budget myself to get out of debt?
Well, with regards to credit cards, especially if you're just utilizing one, you have that ability to control that influx in spending and everything like that, and keep an eye on it all under one roof. And on top of that, that's one reason I even posed the Max Rewards card. Get a little money back for what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Sure.
That can definitely help with your budget as well. I will be honest. Credit cards they do take a responsibility, and they take your own responsibility.
Regarding budgets,
you understand
obviously
how much you were spending, but you do have a limit.
Yeah.
Now, regarding budgets, obviously
The debit card is always the way to go because you have a limited amount of funds to do so. But I like to look at the budgeting in a sense of doing that debt consolidation again, because the headache with just getting rid of all those other expenses, I think that puts a lot of people at ease, and it really allows them to, think more about how they are spending their money.
Right. And I've always loved too that as we talk to people about credit cards, we might start them with a Prime Platinum because they're going to roll over a ton of consolidated debt.
You might be going to buy some furniture for a new
Something
home,
might be
anything
happening.
like that.
But my life changes in 5 years. I now am in a place where I'm not holding a balance on a card. I can come into LMCU and I can actually refinance that and do it all back into a Max Rewards card and now reap those benefits if I don't think I'm going to be holding a balance. And you get to help set your limit. We'll tell you how much you can have.
Yeah.
But if you're like, whoa, I don't need $5,000 of danger. You can put me at 500. That's totally fine.
And you're absolutely right about that. And for all the younger people, 18-year-olds and up, and heck, I've even ran into some people in their late 20s, 30s, and even early 40s who just do not have any credit at all.
Yeah.
Right.
And good on the ones that have been around for a while who have had the
And have
ability to pay
somehow gotten a
cash.
house too.
Yeah, house, a BMW,
Right, all that.
But at least for those younger individuals who just really don't understand credit, they don't have any credit score whatsoever. They have a good job. They've had it for a handful of months, preferably before. We like to sit down and explain to them the importance that developing credit is going to be for their future. And typically, I get the kind of cringy look, like I don't want a credit card. It was like, but you don't have to worry about this. I'm only going to offer you a $250 limit to start.
Yeah.
Now, $250 is the best way to start getting your credit built up. However, you can't get in too much trouble with $250.
Right. Buy your gas and groceries on this Max Rewards card.
Yeah.
Well, maybe only
off,
gas.
Right? These days, for sure. Yes.
I'll tell you, the first credit card I ever had was something just like that. It had a $300 limit. It was like a student credit card that I could get. Actually, believe it or not, I think it was through Amazon. But it was $300 limit. And even if you wanted to request an increase, it was designed to be a student college, like $300
So
card.
AKA dummy proof.
Right, exactly.
I mean, let's just call it what
You
it
can't
is.
get into too much trouble. I mean, if you're holding down at least a job and you're able to make even, $1,000 or $2,000 at most in a month, you're going to be able to pay that $300 off.
Right.
You're not going to get in that
Absolutely.
much trouble. And in the reverse, you're going to get the benefits of building credit.
Of course, and we are not an institution that's just going to say, "Hey, you've been great with your card, or you haven't spent your card. Here's an extra $500 on your credit limit."
Right.
We do want you to sit down and talk with us.
Yeah.
We like to go over it with you. How have things been going? How have you been doing with your monthly payments? You've been paying it off altogether. You just been making the minimum payments, which still count as a not late payment.
Right.
And it's one of those things I always encourage any of these zero credit borrowers to come in and talk to me after 6 months. I often set a calendar reminder to kind of check in with them if they do seem a little interested in bumping that up, because along with that, having that higher limit but keeping that lower usage,
Right.
typically the credit bureaus like to see a 30% or lower usage. that is only going to help strengthen your credit score and make it even better.
Yeah.
That's so true.
And just the importance of a credit score. It'll get you a better auto loan rate. It will get you, it'll get you a personal loan. It'll get you a boat loan.
Mortgages.
And if you just so happen to be looking for a home with you and a significant other, keep in mind, the mortgages look at the lower credit score. And that's currently where me and my fiance are at. So God bless her heart. I love you, Caitlin. I am working wholeheartedly on my 700 score compared to her 800 score. So
right. And I was in a position when I started, I was raised, credit is the devil, right? And so I got to the point where we're getting a mortgage and they're like, she's got no credit, which might as well be bad credit. And so it was like, okay, how do I build my credit real fast? Because at that point, my husband, all of his work was student work. And so it was like a work study program and they wouldn't count that as income. So it was going to be solely based on me.
Absolutely.
And at that point while my income stood up, I had no credit to show. So it was like, how quick can we make me have a credit score so that we can move forward with buying this house that we found? Luckily, back in 2010, the market was nowhere near what it's been over the last 5 years. And so we could wait a couple of months on this one house. So it's interesting. So if you're 18 out there and just starting, come and talk to one of us.
Of course.
One of the big questions that I've always had is it a bad thing to have a lot of credit cards?
I've met a couple credit card collectors in,
Oh, wow.
in my
That's
tenure
not credit
here.
collectors. Those are credit card collectors.
Credit card collectors.
They look so pretty in my wallet.
So it
Gotta get them all.
it is. It is a little bit of a red flag.
Sure.
When it comes to actually getting a good credit card with a good credit score, because any Joe Schmo can really walk into a department store.
Sure.
They can get a credit card. They can throw their info to these pre-approved junk mails that they get, or these emails that they get, and they can get a card.
Sure.
Well, our main concern there is, okay, you have these cards. However, you have the ability to use these cards as well. And you could, potentially ruin a very long financial future for yourself.
Sure.
So yes, it is not great having a lot of cards. You can have a few cards, you can have multiple cards, but when you start getting into the upper single digits, that may be a little bit of a red flag and a concern
You can fill
for all
one
of
side
us.
of your wallet. One side. Just
right.
those slots. When we start getting to the second side or going into a trifold, we have problems.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I have my Cabela's card, I have my Target Red card, I have my Kohl's card, and I have my Max Rewards card.
There you go.
Right.
I
got that.
Yeah,
But when those are places that you benefit from, absolutely.
Yes.
No problem. And that's the common misconception. We don't just look how much debt you currently have. We look at how much debt could you possibly be in.
Of course.
And so if I have 5 $20,000 limits, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
that is.
And you're not planning on using it, but life happens, like we said, and
Well, it's
temptation is real.
It's one of these things, I went to the one time I went to Express, I got 25% off because I signed up for the card. Well, I paid it off. I just got rid of the card. I was
Right.
like,
That was it.
I'm probably
I got
not
the
going back to
benefit.
Express. So
Yeah.
Let's talk about closing cards. Now that you say you paid it off and you sent it on its way. What does that do to my credit if I'm opening and closing and opening and closing?
So closing cards. So opening and closing cards. That's gonna keep your credit score down, because what it is, it's doing a hard pull, which does tend to drop it down a few points, and then but that does take several months to well, I shouldn't say several. It takes a few months for it to kind of pop back up there, but it will. What people don't understand is, hard pull here is not going to hurt you too long at all.
2-3 points.
2-3 points in for a few
Back
months.
up 2-3 payments.
Of course.
Yeah.
But if you're getting hard pulls, opening a card, closing it within a few months, and kind of making that a habit, it is going to significantly hurt your credit score because you're never going to have that opportunity to actually get back up there.
Sure.
Right.
Now there are several opportunities to close down cards. I hate to say it, but I have a card from a different financial institution that just so happens to be my oldest trade line. So my
Right.
loan line
Yeah.
on my credit report.
We'll have to have the bleep button now. Like, it's at.
I'm watching myself here, okay?
Self-censored. At least one of us has a filter. It's good.
No, and that card, I mean, my trade is, I think, 18, 19 years old.
Sure.
If I were to close that down, that would significantly hurt my credit
Right.
score because a good portion of your credit report has to do with how long you have been able to be lent to
Yeah.
and how long have you kept that good.
Yeah.
Now, I hate to say it, when a lot of people, when people come in front of me and they actually, they're like, I got to consolidate debt. I got to get my credit score better. I look at it as in, are you willing to close these out? Because when it comes down to that, paying off the debt and closing at the same time, you're going to get the better side of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're going to get a jump there.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you're just in a spiraling hole and you need to get out of it and you kind of need to start fresh.
Yeah.
But you might start fresher than what you're currently at.
Sure. That's a good point.
But you also don't have that ability if we close them out to get back into that hole
Right.
again.
Yeah.
And sometimes it does actually take 2 steps back to take that giant leap forward. And I
Of
really
course.
think that's true with these credit cards and closing the ones that get you in trouble.
Yeah. Well, John, I hope like for listeners as they've been listening to you kind of give just a ton of great information. And I really hope that they're hearing some of the things they've maybe heard for a long time that are negative about credit cards. Start to reconsider those things. To again, we do this podcast to help people. We're not trying to sell you anything on our end of as far as like credit cards and things like that. But we want you guys to know as listeners that credit cards don't have to be such a dangerous thing. It really comes down to having, some good information to go off of. That's why going into a financial institution like LMCU to sit down and talk to someone. And I'll tell you, if you're listening to the podcast and you're like, I go into my bank or credit union, whatever, and I don't get any kind of like, hey, let's sit down and talk about it. If you don't have people willing to actually help you at your financial institution, there are others out there that do want to give you that time of day.
Like
and we
LMCU.
just happen to be one of them. But it is true.
And you know what I was going to say? That is why I am so passionate about what we do here at LMCU is because we truly, truly do care about your financial future.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So, well, hey, John, we will have to have you on again and do a
Absolutely.
little catch up on this. Maybe when we're getting into the holiday season, we can bring you back to talk about credit cards and what maybe we should be cautious of before that time.
I can't
comes
just
along.
max it all out.
I know.
That's not what it's. That's the max. No, never
but
mind.
I thought that was, holiday spirit, maximum
I
giving.
think that's a date. John,
There
we
you
gotta
go.
have John back.
Awesome. Well, John, before you head out, we have an opportunity for you to win a little bit of money for a nonprofit that we support here at LMCU.
I'm terrified.
It's a little show, part of the show that we call Are You Smarter Than the Show Trivia? Each podcast, we have $50 on the table, but don't worry, if you don't win, that $50 will be added to the pot for next podcast. So no matter what, someone's going to win. So now, it's very easy. The rules are super simple. I'm going to read both of you a question, and you both will buzz in with each of your names. That's the buzzer. And then each of you have a chance to answer. If you get it wrong, there is a steal on the table. So it will go to low then to have a steal potential. And then whoever gets the most points after 3 questions wins. So what do you say? We get right into it.
Did that make you start sweating? Just the sound there? That always makes me sweat.
A little bit more than the room.
Right. Just slightly. Welcome to summer.
I am the worst at trivia.
You know what?
Ooh, I like this. I'll take it.
Yeah, slam dunk. This is
That
the one that
or
she's gonna
he's
lose.
just trying to play
I did
me.
get the 2007 iPhone though.
See,
I
there you
had
go. Right there, right there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, talking about money, let's get right into this question. Who is depicted on the U.S. $100 bill?
Low.
She was quick.
All about those Benjis.
All
Benjamin
about the
Franklin.
Benjamins. Yay! That's a perfect answer.
Are you sure she can't see your screen?
Seeing as
I
I'm
swear,
looking at the
I
actual
swear.
back of his laptop right now. X-ray vision at its finest. I am a mom, so there are some eyes in the back of my head.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Well, one down.
Yes.
Low 1. John 0. All right. The next question. How many colors are there in a rainbow?
John.
John. Confidently low. He
He very.
very.
7.
That's correct. It
I was
is
gonna
7 in a rainbow.
That was my answer too. You just
You
said
had me at colors. I was already there.
there you go.
Roy G. Biv.
My kids now have a song for that.
Yeah.
I didn't get the song
All the
when I
fifth
was a
graders
kid.
are like, come on, it's
Roy
easy.
G. Biv. It's a wonderful name.
What?
Hype man Brett. I
Okay.
love it. It's tied. This is scary.
1-1. Whoever answers right. Or if both of you get it wrong, tiebreaker. But this is kind of like a tiebreaker right now. All right. The following line is from which 1970s film? You talking to me? Are you talking to me?
John.
John,
Goodfellas.
it is not Goodfellas.
Is it The Godfather?
Unfortunately, neither correct. However, name the actor. It doesn't count, but you both
Right.
are
Robert De Niro.
Right.
Robert De Niro.
Right.
Okay. Movie's called Taxi Driver.
Right. You know, definitely wasn't born in 1970s, so
Yeah, I'm a film nerd.
yeah,
so-
you're a giant film geek.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I say that in the
I
most
do have a-
loving
In the
way.
most loving.
I
of
do have a
ways.
Spangler Funko Pop in my office.
I love it.
Ghostbusters. All right. What do you call a snack made of chocolate, graham crackers, and marshmallow?
Low.
I'm so sorry, John. I mean, this is a slam dunk. This is a layup.
Literally had them the other day, and
No way.
definitely wanted some more.
Some more, I think, is correct. Oh,
now, if you
my
really want to
goodness.
win the s'more game, a Reese's peanut butter cup.
I was gonna say
That's true.
Had it
I've
been
heard about this.
any name brand stuff, I'd have gotcha. My branch would have been disappointed if I hadn't answered that correctly.
Oh, well, congratulations again, Lo. You know, we're getting back to your streak from before. I think you were up to 5 wins in a row once.
I was.
So she's
Oh,
kind
very
of been
nice.
the
Don't mess
queen.
around.
So, well, John, thank you for participating. It was close, though. At least it wasn't a blowout.
You're just giving a bigger donation to
That's
one.
exactly right.
Absolutely.
So next podcast for listeners, tune in for $150
Woohoo!
on the table, and yeah, we'll see who gets to win. Lo gets to stay in the hot seat, or we get to start donating it. Awesome. Well,
Thanks again, John.
No,
Yeah.
Brett Lowe, thank you so much for having
Oh,
me on.
thanks,
This was
man.
a wonderful opportunity.
it was awesome. Well, again, like I said earlier, we would love to have you back on.
We'll
and
see you for the holidays.
That's right. That's right.
Come wearing your jingle bells.
That's right. An ugly sweater. Maybe we'll do an ugly sweater podcast.
I
No
love
one
it.
can see
I'll
it.
be
but-
there.
Awesome. Well, again, for listeners, thanks again for tuning in to the Wallet Wisdom Podcast Show. Hey, subscribe to us if you can, and if you would, we'd love it. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Man, we're on LinkedIn,
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio. We're on Twitter as
iHeartRadio.
well. Don't forget about the
Spotify.
tweets. But you can listen to us on Spotify. Yeah, you got it. I mean, iHeartRadio, Audible. I mean, Amazon's.
I'll
you know-
actually be on the iHeartRadio next week.
See, there you go.
Woohoo!
So
You can listen to them twice.
perfect. Apple Music, the whole thing. So, But yeah, we'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to hear what kind of fun topics that you might also want to hear about. So be sure to like us, comment, and subscribe. But until next time.
Bye-bye now.
Thanks for listening. The information provided in this podcast by Lake Michigan Credit Union is general education or marketing in nature and is not intended to be accounting, legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Statements of individuals are their own, not LMCU's. All topics discussed are information of a general nature and do not address the circumstances of any particular individual or entity. Consult an appropriate professional concerning your specific situation. As of the date of publishing and any future date this podcast is broadcast, all rates, fees, payments, or other specific figures discussed are subject to change and are dependent upon your specific financial situation. All loan products discussed are subject to credit and collateral approval. You alone assume the sole responsibility of evaluating the merits and risks associated with the use of any information or other content in the podcast before making any decisions based on such information or other content. In exchange for listening to the podcast, you agree not to hold LMCU, its affiliates, or any third-party service providers liable for any possible claim for damages arising from any decision you make based on information or other content made available to you through the podcast. For more information on any of the content discussed in this podcast, please visit lmcu.org. Copyright Lake Michigan Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender. LMCU, NMLS ID number 442967.